stay here with you. You are a ranger, so I am a lucky man. I am a lucky man. You are my favorite song. I am a lucky man. 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 I am a lucky man.
It's been welcome to the show for everyone. This is Extra Speed on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makurdi. And of course, it's King James YiYE. Okay, I'm not alone. I'm with.
Mmemshima King.
Ted Tewase Ayamge.
Right, so I'm not on the camera, even though we're streaming. My camera has not picked. So I'll introduce the topic to you guys and try to sort out my camera.
Okay.
Because nobody can see me. Okay, I think there is a camera here. Yeah, one of those ones. They moved it. It's showing just half of my face.
Okay, let me get to
No,
that.
don't worry.
Okay.
When you guys start, I will sort that out.
Right.
Okay, so we are looking at excessive speed. Excessive speed. This is a fallout from yesterday. We were talking about the speed limit and World Day to combat desertification and drought. But we talked about the speed limit, and we said there is need to bring in, excessive speed. And we asked people if they have ever reported. There is a feedback number on vehicles, especially long trucks and buses, commercial vehicles. If I'm driving badly, please call this number. And somebody said when they called, it was the driver who picked and insulted them. So we want to find out if others have called as well. So you can join us on YouTube and go to Facebook as well and be part of this. While I sort my camera out, let me ask you guys if you've ever called any of those numbers.
For me, it's no, I haven't. I haven't called any of those numbers. Although at times when I see those numbers and I see the drivers being reckless, I wonder, do people actually call these numbers at all? But for me, it's a no. I haven't. I don't know about Ted.
I haven't called any number, but sometimes I realized chatting with some people about this. Like even yesterday, I was talking to my neighbor. So some of the numbers, if you call, they will tell you the number is not assigned.
Oh, really?
So it comes from the network. So sometimes it's just written on the vehicle.
Okay.
Some kind of, to let people know that there is a number, but is it actually functional? Is it working? Is it assigned? Is there a customer service owned by the transport company that has that, or is just written for the sake of just let's write that we will also have a contact number? Because a company that provides such number should have a customer service. It shouldn't be the driver, like you said. The driver shouldn't be the one to pick or another person. There should be someone that will pick that call when you make a call to that number to complain. Some companies have they have this speed limit kind of facility fixed in their vehicles.
That's
so you
true.
you can't go beyond that. And if you do, the companies are alerted by a device they fix in the vehicle. They know they should reach the driver and all that. So some of those numbers are they just right there.
I think that's better.
All right, so I'm still not able to sort our camera, but this other one is on. So when I'm talking, I'll just move to my that's for people who are watching on YouTube.
All right, no
all right. So, but generally, excessive speed. We have the speed lane, average speed, slow speed, and fast speed. But for us, it's all positive speed. But drivers, getting involved in excessive speed, meaning that they are going above speed limit and all of that. So this is a common thing actually, but you can call 08084275464, 08084275464. It's excessive speed on Speed FM. Yeah, speed, yeah. So you can call and tell us. Everybody has seen a driver who has been reckless or speeding. Excessive speed means reckless driving anyway. So you can call and tell us your experience. In the meantime, Alamashagodobe team is out to find out from people. And we listen to them before we go on.
All right.
I think so.
This is
Asking Radio 98.5 FM.
The last time I called the customer care about the reckless driving of a particular driver, they asked us to come to the park. So we come, they questioned the driver, and he was explaining what was wrong with him, and we, the passenger, we told them what we saw. Unlike that day, the guy was drunk. From that drink, he was driving recklessly. But since that time, we have not I have not experienced anything from any of the driver again. That is in my own side.
All right. So, how about that? You called that number and they ask you to come. Do they need to ask you to come?
To come, yeah.
It sounds funny to me. Like you really need to. What's the essence of the number? If you knew the park where it existed, you would have gone physically to report. But now you make the call to a number that is existent, and then they ask you to come.
So the thing for me is that even if I know the park and I call, why would you ask me to come?
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah. And it baffles me to hear that drivers get drunk before they drive. Yeah, and it baffles me because I believe by now they should be educated well enough to see what happens to people that get drunk before they drive, you know. And it just like Wedipa said yesterday that a guy that got drunk and passed the toll gate, I was like surprised, you know, but it's pathetic actually.
Madam, it will shock you that the places where you find the cheapest sachet alcohols and all the stuff are in parks.
Oh, wow.
I won't generalize every park. Maybe standard parks like the one, the state one we have, and some of those ones. But those places are there where drivers sit, their resting area. So the guy that loads the vehicle is different.
Yeah.
The conductor is different.
Yeah.
The guy that loads luggages for passengers is also different. The driver states that when they are done, they settle everybody. The driver is called and is coming out of that place. Sometimes you have already paid, you are seated, and you see the guy walking in staggering. What are you going to do?
There's not.
And then they write on the funny receipt that they have no refund.
No
of
refund,
money after payment.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so is xTRa speed on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makudi. Excessive speed. That's what we're looking at here. So you can call 08084 275464. That's 08084 275464. Those of you watching on YouTube, okay, we're battling with cameras here. You know, we just decided to switch them off and on, so it's really not easy, but we'll try to sort that out. Okay, so here we have a comment on Facebook from Teokula Samuel. Says, good morning, King James and the good people of Asking Radio. I'm streaming live with you guys from Lagos, Lekki Phase 1. Yeah, so you tell us about driving in Lagos. I think my colleagues told me that time they would say the worst drivers in Nigeria are in Abuja.
Wow.
Really?
Of all places.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they saw, you know. So Abuja drivers actually. Okay, so wherever you are, excessive speeds on Speed FM. So tell us about your experience. Were you driving and somebody passed by that way in your estate? Were you traveling in the same vehicle? And above all, have you bothered to call those numbers that you write that report my driving to 00011111419? All right, so let's go over to Alama Shagoribi team.
I don't know that's why they are there for. I don't know why I don't know if they are there for people to call if driver is being recklessly like that. I don't know, so I have not tried it.
She's unaware there's such numbers.
Wow. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mmemshima King.
Good morning.
Good morning, King James.
Good morning.
Ted.
Good morning.
Yeah, Engineer Sunday Akpa. No bank, Makodi Collins.
Okay.
Yes, go on. Yeah.
Excessive speed. Yes, let's define excessive speed here. Any speed that is excessive, it means you are driving at a speed that is incompatible with safety.
Yeah.
It gone beyond speed limit, and different cars have different speed limits. For instance, cars that are designed with low center of gravity, the speed they drive and is safe. any car with high center of gravity will not be safe. You know, if a car with a low center of gravity is more stable. You know how these speed cars, they have low center of gravity, they cannot easily overturn.
Overturn, yeah.
They can negotiate better and still be stable. You understand? So
Unlike
like
the
a vehicle that is
SUVs.
highly loaded, loaded like that, you know, he has caused himself to have high center of gravity, can easily overturn. So actually, excessive speed is bad. I've experienced it when I was younger. In 1984, I was going for youth service in Kano, from Makodi to Kano. In fact, the way that driver was driving, man, my heart was in my mouth throughout. There was nothing I could do. I was just praying throughout. And thank God we landed safely. You know, somebody will drive as if he will play all the speedometer. I don't know what he's looking for. He will drive as if you have 9 lives. And some of these people, they don't even mind the category of the passengers they are carrying. Some passengers you carry, some people are PhD holders, some people have children, you know, some people are responsible people, but you drive at excessive speed so that you can kill them. It's not good. But for a long time now, since I have my own car, I don't be entering public transport again. So when I see people driving reckless, overtaking recklessly, I flag them, I caution them my way. And when you are inside the vehicle and a driver is driving at a excessive speed, if you correct it, say, "Oh boy, cool down, you know, I've been driving for 40 years. I've been driving before you were born." So this is just happen at a time. Even if you have been driving, it can happen today. So it's good to be cautious while driving. If you are overspeeding, you know you cannot easily prevent an accident.
No.
If you are driving at a very good speed, you can easily, if you have an object before you, you can match your brake and then you can avert it. But if you are overspeeding, remember, in physics, we call something momentum. Momentum is the product of the speed or velocity. You know, I wouldn't want to go scientific because there is a little difference between velocity and speed. Speed is a scalar quantity, velocity is a vector quantity, but that is not our topic. But when you multiply your speed with the weight of your vehicle, what you get is the momentum. So even a small car, if you're overspeeding, the momentum can be higher than a car that is bigger. And when you have an impact, it's going to be very fatal.
Yeah,
It's going to be very
That's what they
fatal.
don't
The
know.
road crash is very fatal. So it's good. When you arrive safely, you are the best driver. And let me tell you, when somebody overspeeds and overtakes you, if you are going to Canada and somebody overtakes you, you are driving normally, he will reach only 5 minutes before you.
Exactly.
Just a distance of 5 minutes. I'm telling you this, I've tried it many times.
Yeah.
So there's no need
Even
to
at the next
embark on the
checkpoint.
17.
Yeah, exactly. Once they slow down, you are there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this life doesn't have a duplicate. We need to guard it jealously. If you are reckless with your life, if you die anyhow, you go to heaven. If at all you go to heaven, angel will ask you, why did you misbehave with your life? Are you in trouble?
You're right, Willie.
So we need to guard this life very jealously.
Yeah.
If you don't care for your life, other people care. You have dependents. You don't have dependents. You have wife, have children. If you don't bother about your life, what of the dependents? So we need to be careful.
Right.
And care for other people while we try. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, so talking about, let me not just go into gravity and all of that, but of course, vehicles are designed that way. If you carry an SUV, for instance, it has less balance, you know, compared to my Honda Accord V6, you know, 2009. It's well balanced, you
lower
know.
to the floor.
Yeah. So, but if you carry an SUV, even if the Ford Expedition here, you see how big it is and the weight it has. But there is caution there. Especially, I don't know if people have these in their cars, but if you open the inner dressing mirror, you know, let me just call it dressing mirror so that not the one that you watch the rear view, you know. So that's what they
It's better than the back of it.
yeah, you just it's written there for airbags and all of that. So you can always see that for vehicle specification, you know, even for inflation of tires and the pressure is there. People don't know all these things. So if you get carried away by the fact that, okay, I'm carrying an SUV or a Jeep as they call it,
Yeah.
and you think
You are the
should
king of
try
the
of
road.
the road. It can
But for-
easily turn over.
Funny enough, King James, SUVs are what executives use in the country, and I think the highest speed. I'm not saying that reference to anybody, but I know that's most of them use SUVs. The highest speed I've witnessed is
It's from them,
convoy,
yeah.
convoys
Convoy,
of-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So when it
that's
happens,
true.
it's really
Yeah,
bad.
good morning.
It's
Morning.
Good morning, everyone in the studio.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Who do we have on the line?
This is Google Family calling behind Green Dot Hotel.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. And it will shock you to know that some of these guys are driving recklessly and not even car owners. Some are just sent on an errand and they want to do a kind of sharp guy, a kind of show up to let people know that yes, I can also drive.
You are right. You are right.
Okay.
You are right.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, very short and simple.
Yeah, that's true. What he said is true. Most of them are not car owners, so they just drive recklessly on the way. And when you try to caution them, next thing they just throw insults at you, and you're
Yeah.
like, "What did I do wrong? I was only trying to caution you, and you're insulting me."
They always tell you they've been driving for years.
Exactly.
But of course, just as Engineer Akpa said, you may have driven for so many years,
That-
but it happens just in a split of
one
seconds,
That's
and you
true.
can't explain. So I encountered a man sometime in 2009. It's a retired soldier that was probably military police or what, riding the escort, So he retired and he was driving someone. So era 11, after FCDA traffic, heading to Gariki 2, that CBN quarters going to Gimbia, around that area.
Yeah.
So traffic, passed us on green. Then I made to go. And he just crossed my face with a Sienna.
wow.
There was nothing I could do but I rammed into him. The tire, one of his tires, just pulled out and rolled on the road.
That's
That was
it.
heavy
Screaming,
impact.
yeah.
Oh.
I was driving that baby boy of 2002, that special edition, so it was very heavy. So I hit him that badly. And what I'm referring to this because of what Fanon said.
Said yeah.
It turned out that his boss was in a meeting.
Oh no.
And he confessed to us that he had not eaten, so he rushed to go and eat so that he would come back without the
and
boss
wait,
knowing.
yeah.
Oh no.
So excessive speed or reckless driving there led to that.
Yeah.
That'd be fatal.
So yeah, of course my airbags,
At the end of the day, he wouldn't eat that food again.
He
would
ate
eat-
already.
He ate
He
already
rushed
and
to
was
go
on
and
it.
it
Coming
was
back
rushing
up.
back,
Wow,
so that they
wow,
wouldn't
he would be
see
so
him.
tense now.
So,
But
but
look at the
again,
implication. And then he's
Exactly.
still going to let the boss know.
No, that he left.
Okay, the vehicle got
no, but
damaged.
the boss was called. He to the scene because before then I called Prince. As I called the lawyer,
yeah.
I called the mechanic, I called panel beta, I called all the professionals that were involved in that. So when they came, I even called the police. So when they came, they begged the police that it should be settled. So he was to replace the parts. He spent 500,000 then. To buy parts for the
What
car.
I didn't bargain for.
Yeah, but it was not even complete yet. And then he didn't complete again.
Wow.
But he came, said he was an elderly man. He was not going to lie, blah, blah. But after some time, he now said
Yeah.
that he's also fixing his car.
Yes.
I should not annoy him
Annoy
again.
him,
So, he looked like my grandfather at that
Okay.
time. So I
Yeah,
had to
you
go
just-
complete
of course.
fixing the car. But the AC never worked fine again. So I had to, get rid of the car.
Yeah.
Consequence of extra speed. I mean, you can be speeding excessively,
Yeah, for me, the traffic just allowed me to. So when you take off,
Yeah.
that full speed.
Yeah,
so
you don't, because there are other
just
people at the
crossed.
back, and you were lucky it didn't involve a second person following you at the same speed, because it could have been more than.
So what
just
he
two
did
vehicles.
was, because he just like twinkle of an eye, he came from where he was from that adjoining street,
Yeah.
and then that is the one that leads to area 3. So he just ran into the road. So he passed the first set of cars that passed, and then the middle. I was on the
Yeah.
middle lane, so I was the one that got him. But of course, he swayed and went to the road divider. The tire was rolling. So, yeah, it was just a stroke of luck. Otherwise, the tire alone would have caused somebody else's death.
Yeah.
Of course.
all
Of
of
course.
that.
Of course.
Because I rammed into him,
Of course.
that way. Anyway, excessive speed on 98.5 speed. If it's not going to be smooth for those watching on YouTube because changing the cameras, either go to you or come to me because my camera here, I've not been able to sort it out before the show, but that's fine. They can see you and hear me, or see me and hear you.
Of course.
We'll just try to do that. So you can call 08084 275464. That's 08084 275464 and tell us your experience. Either you were driving and perhaps first mistake of your life, maybe you escaped an accident or somebody did. Anyhow, let's just know. And people can learn from that as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And talking about speed limit, excessive speed, they are intertwined. So for commercial vehicles, they always try to peg it at 90 maximum.
Yes.
Not luxury buses.
Okay.
Just normal.
18-seater
buses and all of that. It should be 90 on the highways. And for private vehicles, shouldn't be more than 100. Every country has, their own speed limit. But again, it doesn't mean that in the highway, for instance, if you're approaching a built-up area, like those villages or the settlements by the road, sometimes you see 20 kilometers per hour. So you shouldn't go beyond that.
Okay.
And then when you're approaching a bridge, don't say because they say I should go up to 90
then you
or 100. Then you decide to. You don't actually overtake on the bridge or speed on the bridge. But let people call and tell us. Meanwhile, we'll go to Mmemshima team. Let's hear what they are saying here.
Yeah, because I have not seen any need to call because I have not encountered any nonchalant attitude from the driver, no sort of reckless driving and all of that, no sort of overspeed and all of that. So I don't see any need calling.
This man is not in Nigeria.
He hasn't seen any reckless driving.
He hardly travels
in this country. Maybe he hardly travels, let me just say. And when he's on the way, the drivers that day are so blessed when they drive,
Because even when you're driving, like what Engineer said, when you're driving, someone else excessively could overtake you.
And you
like
would
James was talking about,
decide to.
about not overtaking on a bridge. People do. They don't care. There's some countries that have codes like you don't overtake a school bus. I think the US had that, whether it's still existent. You don't overtake a school bus because it's carrying, they call them sensitive citizens.
Yeah.
You don't worry no matter what speed is going, you drive behind gradually until they turn.
Yeah.
You don't overtake an ambulance. There are some special vehicles and all that. But then, King James, we have the road safety established to monitor this, and you have them at different points on the road. Should we resort to calling the numbers on the vehicles or report such an incident to the next road safety checkpoint that you run into?
I think people can actually report at the road safety next one. Perhaps if somebody was driving, maybe it has to be behind you, but it means you have also overtaken the person.
Exactly.
So if they were excessively driving, how come you actually overtook them? But if they were reckless, maybe in other wrong use of the highway, yes, why not? If you get to the next road safety check, maybe you tell them that this person was doing this. Why is it funny?
No. I'm just flowing with you.
No, but I mean, it's sounding as if you have ever reported and they never answered.
Yes, it happened. It happened in Abuja. My brother, they had a friend that was road safety, and something like that happened, and they reported because what he said, like they should report to the next road safety that they see on the way. Yeah. They did, and what the man said, it wasn't really encouraging. That's why I'm laughing. It was more like, now so did they behave, so you make you just stay cautious of how you go drive, you understand? So that was what the road safety just said. So
perhaps that was because it was informal. He just told his friend. So it was more like he was complaining with his friend. So but if you call road safety numbers, which should be made available to us, if they do that, or if a road safety official who is authorized to speak, if they are listening to us, they can call 08084 275464 and educate people on this. Now, another thing about excessive driving is sometimes or most times the person driving doesn't know until you park by the express to we. Now, when another car passes and you,
Yeah, you are.
your heart jumps to your mouth. You are like, so this is how
Were you
vehicles
doing
speed.
something?
And you were doing even far worse than that.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's true. That's very true.
So the sound from the tires on the roads and the motion of that vehicle, you are like, so that was how I sped too.
Yeah, that's true.
So well, that is what speed does. Our speed doesn't kill. That's what we're Speed
doesn't.
FM.
Yeah.
98.5. I think we've not gone above speed limit.
We haven't.
98.5.
Yeah.
Not even 100.
Still
Okay. So
acceptable.
all right. So 08084275464. Call now. Tell us experience. Either you drove excessive speed, or you witnessed one, or you have ever called to report driver. A lot of people say the last man said no need because he has never found.
Any reckless driver.
Let's hear from this woman.
Okay.
We have a caller here.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Emeka Anyos from North Bank.
Okay, go
Good
on,
morning.
Emeka.
You see, I have called one time reporting drivers to drive excessive. And these days in Nigeria, like in other countries, when you drive, they always show your speed limit. Well, the security people know. This time in Nigeria, anybody can drive anyhow and it doesn't matter. So I am of the opinion that when we are driving, we should be conscious of what we are doing. Because tomorrow, when you drive today and it doesn't get to the place you are going, it will not be a good thing. So I am of the opinion that we should drive carefully and get to our destination. Then, for example, there are...
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, Emeka is still there, but we can't hear him. Okay, but he has passed the message.
Yeah.
He is saying that you drive to stay alive.
Exactly.
Yeah, drive to stay alive because people need you.
Of course.
Yeah, even if you don't need your life, there are dependents on you, so they need you to stay alive. So not everything in life that you do for yourself alone. So they have installed speed limit checkers on vehicles here. But what do? They only sound alarm.
That's what I heard. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what I've heard.
Oh, they don't. I never knew that. So they don't
force the car not to go beyond.
slow beyond.
I think from what I've heard, I've never entered the vehicle with those devices. The only thing is like one of the BBC buses in Nigeria then. It was pre-installed from the factory, so it was just if you were going beyond 100 or 120, it will simply just give you an alarm just to remind you. So these ones, I don't know whether they force you not to go beyond a certain limit, or they only sound an alarm. So the alarm is supposed to disturb you to remind you that, hey, guy, that is over speeding, excessive speed.
I had an encounter the last time we traveled. And the vehicle we entered, the guy wasn't speeding that much, but we had some little hiccups on the way. So at a point, most people, they wanted to travel, so they were like, speed, add speed, And so there was a mama in the car. She was like, no, the driver should not speed. So at a point, the driver was like, no, he cannot speed, because they have a monitor on the car that detects when they are speeding and so. But some of the passengers were like, but some of your bosses are passing and they are speeding and they are overtaking you, So why can't you speed it? So most of them, they were like, they even regretted it.
Okay, so the same buses for the same company?
Yeah. They were passing and speeding,
So it means that the drivers of the other buses from the same company will do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Obviously,
so it was left for you passengers to have picked the numbers of those.
Well, who would call when everybody in the bus was like, speed, we are late. It was only the mama that was like, please, don't.
I know that those ones have tracking devices. So if you overspeed, they're naturally going to report you because they're monitoring them, they're tracking you, they know where you are, and they know that you are speeding at this point.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mmemshima King.
Good morning.
Good morning, King James.
Morning.
Samuel calling from Lagos.
Okay, go on, Samuel.
Thank you. Talking about excessive speed. I'm a driver.
Okay.
I'm not just a driver. I'm not a driver for now, but I was a driver, and not just one like that. Escort driver for 4 years before I left. And talking about it, so many things have to be considered. Me myself, I don't like speeding until when I'm late. If I'm late, I can tell the fact. Sometimes I overspeed. But when working with somebody, your speed limit actually determine the person you are driving. Let me just say the fact. We that work with people. Sometimes we have to travel. Sometimes they even give us hours that we have to be there.
Wow.
So at that point, you have to do as much as possible to be there. There are some people that if you cannot speed, you cannot drive them.
Wow.
There are some people that if you carry them, you cannot overspeed. So at that point, you don't have more choice but to deal with instruction if you like your job so much.
Wow.
And one thing about driving and coming to other commercial buses and all of that, sometimes when you carry too much passenger, as a driver, you must know to what you are doing, know your job, and do it specifically because people can over control you. Inside that vehicle, if you are carrying 3 or 5 people, 2 can be likely want you to speed. Why 3 can like you to want you to maintain the normal speed and all of that. So in the process, many people are complaining and some people are saying different things. So at that point in time, you don't have choice but to do what you like. And at the end of the day, or sometimes it's even driver by themselves. When they are speeding and you complain, they told you that they know what they are doing. An accident doesn't alert before it comes. That is why we call it accident. When they appear, it appears at the expense of other people too. Because innocent person can be just going on his own. And when it happens, they can definitely affect that person. So let's just assume that he affects and material things lost we can buy. But what about if life lost? We can't recover it back. So what I'm saying is, regardless of all these things, however, a driver must know when and how to speed and maintain the maximum. Here in Lagos, we have it already on the road everywhere. Any road that you enter have a speed limit. Let me just give you an example. The terminal bridge that they just repaired, the maximum speed now is 80. And when I enter the terminal bridge and I want to maintain that 80, you make it, people confuse you. Overtaking left and right. Overtaking left. So at that point in time, you are trying to do the right thing, people confuse you, and it can even make you cause as the more especially in Lagos here. They can overtake even at the traffic light, they can overtake. So those things, I said, every people, and the worst part, people don't learn how to drive. They don't go to driving school anymore. They don't go. That is the only truth. People learn by their relatives. They don't go to driving school. So when they carry, the only thing they know the gear. You can even ask them about this. They don't even know much. They don't even know much. That is the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So much.
So what he says is actually the truth. When you're driving, even within town, you want to maintain a certain speed. Sometimes you just want to cruise. But the way they are overtaking you and all of this, sometimes you have to move to allow them be far from you. So it's sad that on the bridge that are saying 80 kilometers per hour. And then these trucks, is, people have complained. This company, the guy doing cement and other stuff. The drivers are reckless.
They are.
From Boko to Makede to Abuja to because of those Chinese trucks that they have acquired. Because those old ones that were using gas those days, that were heavy, not with power steering, and were only driven by old men who had families and knew the importance of staying alive. Those ones, it was written on them 56 kilometers per hour. But these other ones overtake even a V6 or a V8, sedan.
They tell you they know how to drive. I think Samuel has said so much, and it's very educative in what he said. most people, yes, it's true, they don't go to driving school anymore. So you see, they don't even know the signs on the way. You know, they just see those things and they just think those things are just meant to be there without even reading the caution and all of that on the road. You know, they just move like that. And at times, if you want to be cautioned on the road, as in by being careful, the way people would drive would force you to actually be like them. At times you are at the traffic and it's counting down. It's just on 10.
Not at times, every time.
Yeah. and then they are
honking behind
and
you.
you're like,
Front,
are you guys not seeing, you know? So at times you will be forced to even move because you see some people, they'll be trying to like overtake you so that they can move ahead, you know. And you see
the
bikes, they will just come in front of you, you know. So many things are going wrong, actually.
What a country. There is hope.
17
to 9, you're listening to Extra Speed on our King Radio 98.5 Speed FM. We're looking at excessive speed. Of course, it has a lot of, you know, combinations. Whether you maintain speed limits or you are reckless, sometimes, yes, let's just put all of them together. But if you maintain average speed, you could still, even if you're observing traffic rules and all of that,
I think
you could still be reckless.
He also mentioned he mentioned signs, which is something I've noticed on the roads. There are these road signs indicators, that little signposts that on the road to indicate
they
where
block them with posters.
Exactly, defaced with posters, so you can't even tell when you're approaching a bridge. If, for example, if you don't know the road.
So the other thing is, now those posters have a link. How do I mean? If it is political campaign, the candidate's name is there. So what I think is, if they deface traffic signs with those posters, those people should be questions, for all those things. If it is a church doing a crusade or all night,
and the crusade of 1999 is still hanging on that.
So you just go and get them.
And he also said something about your owner, like your boss. You know, at times they detect for you, you know. So
they become the speed limit.
They become, obviously. So they don't get to listen to the driver, you know, because you employed me to drive you. So I should be able to know what and what to do. So you shouldn't detect and tell me what to do, because your life too is also
do you know
risk.
The solution to that?
No, tell me.
Because he made mention of, you know, trying to protect your job. Therefore, the boss tells you what to drive.
Yes.
If Samuel comes and rejects that offer, that look, I'm a licensed driver, this is the speed limit and all of that, and you sack him, the other driver comes and you keep sacking, then you drive yourself. They'll start listening to you. If we just stand our ground.
That's very true.
It's because of unemployment and poverty and, you know, high cost of living. So people accept those jobs, but you're accepting it at your own peril. Because, come on, how do you tell me that my owner or my boss, my employer has become the standard speed limit for me, not what the regulators have told me? Come on. Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
So highway code, some of us started, my father introduced it to me in primary 5.
Okay.
So I started learning highway code, and they started teaching me how to just warm the car.
Okay.
You know, they would tell me, put your legs, always your legs should all of them be inside. Don't put one outside when you start in the car. You know, a manual car could actually move. Then you're struggling to close the balance.
To find the brakes.
So they taught me how to be properly seated, you know, before warming the car. You know, I wasn't anywhere close to driving, but at least to warm the car, check oil. You know, those old cars, those days you could check plugs and clean them first. Otherwise, it wasn't going to start and all of that. Okay, so it's extra speed. Let's go back to Alama Shagodebe and hear what people was saying.
Yes, I've called severally. I usually call the management of the company and they respond swiftly, immediately, and they call the driver to order. So, like on one occasion, we're coming from Boko, though I boarded the bus actually from Zakibiam. So, when we're coming down from Boko to Taka, the driver was so reckless, so insultive. Even when we tried to bring him under order, it was like insulting the whole passenger. So, on that occasion, too, I called and they responded that the management called the driver immediately and they brought him to order. That was what happened on that day. On one occasion again, we had a breakdown although the driver was the same kind of attitude of not approaching passengers politely, and I was able to call the management and they responded to him. So it has been a very nice experience.
So this man has made that change.
Yeah, he has. He has tried. And it's like he always calls whenever he sees these hiccups. He calls. But I wonder why drivers, they insult passengers. It doesn't make sense if your passengers are actually telling you what to do, the right thing to do, and you tend to insult them. It doesn't make sense at all.
Okay, so here is what I think.
Okay.
In this country, you hear that the customer is always right. But people tend to think once they are offering a service, every other person is under you.
Yeah.
So for drivers, for instance, even your co-passengers sometimes turn against you. Had it been you had money, why didn't you use your own vehicle,
exactly.
your car? Yeah. Why are you here complaining? So the driver automatically thinks for you to go and pay and book his bus that probably is less than maybe 10 of those buses are not up to the cost of one car that you are living at home to travel to Abuja in his own bus. He automatically thinks you are a poor man. You are, you are under him.
Yeah.
So he can say anything. That's what they do. So Engineer tried to bring out something that you're carrying PhD holders, you're carrying. He didn't want to sound like but he came back to the home front and said, you're carrying a father who has children or even a grandfather.
Family.
With a family, exactly. So you need to respect them. Maybe not because of their education status or educational background, but of course, maybe the family standing or societal standing.
Yeah.
Maybe not because they're a politician or they're a chief, but they have a family.
Exactly.
You just look at that and you know that they have dependents. Let's just put it that way. Above all, their lives are almost in your hands.
That's true.
So, and again, you have ethics, code of conduct for your own profession.
Of course.
Except you think driving is not a calling, then maybe, I don't know. Otherwise, how would you be insulting passengers?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all.
Sometimes because most of those buses, like most of the commercial buses, even for very big established companies, the buses are not owned by the company. So I have my bus, I go to paint it the same color with the company and register with that company and drive as if it is a bus that belongs to the company, but I only have to pay them, or they pay me. There's an agreement between the owner of the vehicle and all that. So when I am driving my own bus that has the color of that company, I don't care about their own codes. If the company has written down codes for driving and all that, I don't give a damn about it because it's my own bus, my vehicle.
But that's you need to protect the image of that company. Or the company themselves have to do something.
And that is where they don't care.
Yeah, to protect their image.
So a driver could talk to you anyhow and say you can call the company. By the way, he inside his mind he knows this is my vehicle. The highest he can do is to ask him to withdraw from the company. He paints for another company and goes, but most of the companies we have around here, they do that.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
All right, so while men are calling to report reckless drivers or drivers speeding excessively, your gender here is this is what they say.
No, I have not, because I'm not aware of it. This is my first time of hearing it.
Can you hear that? Look at here, another one.
I don't know that's why they are there for.
Hey.
I don't know why I don't know if they are there for people to call if driver is being recklessly like that. I don't know, so I have not tried it.
Another one.
We are just finding out there's a number you could call.
Another one.
No, I've not. I didn't know those numbers are working, so I've never tried.
Wow.
So, what do you think about your gender?
Please, let it not be as if I'm not supporting sisterhood, but I think they need to up their game and they need to pay attention to things very well. Because even if you're even talking, women are even the worst drivers, I would not lie. My encounter with them, they are the worst. They don't know how to drive. They don't know how to manage the road at all. They will just be in the middle of the road. And when you are honking at them to like stay on one lane, In fact, it's
They
well.
can pack. Yeah.
Let me know.
They can pull over and
let me support my fellow women, but they need to step up their game.
they can pull over and try to fight. No, but let's look at this. You actually said women should be observant because Alama Shagodabi team has sent us usable voices here. I think we have 10 here,
Okay.
not 9. So men have called, but again, if you look at these women, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of them, this is woman 1.
I don't know that's why they are there for. I don't know why I don't know if they are there for people to call if driver is being recklessly like that. I don't know, so I have not tried it.
That's woman 1. Woman 2.
We are just finding out there's a number you could call.
Woman 3.
No, I have not. Because I'm not aware of it. This is my first time of hearing it.
Woman number 4.
No, I've not. I didn't know those numbers are working, so I've never tried.
Wow.
She didn't know the numbers are working, so she has not tried calling.
But they may have called.
They have.
So let's listen to this man.
Okay.
Because I feel like entering there with myself, me and the driver, I will tell him how I feel and then I will explain to him. So I believe even if I call the number, it's not help any issue. Then I talk to him because I knew they trained them before sending them. So if they're doing it because they don't know what they're doing. So it could be that I helped the company for what they did not do. That's my own opinion.
Okay, we have a call in.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mmemshima King.
Good morning. Who do we have on the line?
Yeah, good morning, King James YiYE, and my other sister in the studio.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Wedding Patricia Bernard calling from Lagos.
Okay, go on.
Yes, I almost missed your program today. I was doing something and I just came online now.
Okay.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah, so this excessive driving, what I see in it, personally, where someone is driving and maybe I'm sitting by his side, I'll be matching brake by myself. And when I'm on when I'm on the steering, the person will also be telling me, why is this, you know?
Yeah.
So I think we all speed when we are driving, but you know, it just has to be, you know, do with this speed limit. I'm talking about all these commercial drivers. Most of them, they don't actually know how to, you know, drive, and they drive so rough. And when they are driving, their driving is, you know, very, very uncomfortable. So, like I said yesterday, some of them, I know they should be trained before giving them vehicles. But when they just come for driving, then you carry the vehicle and give to them. It seems they are on suicide mission. They don't care about the passengers or anybody else that is driving on that particular road. So I think they should receive proper training before, you know, giving them vehicles.
Thank you. Right. So, in terms of training, sometimes they actually receive, but once they enter the road, they keep their training aside. And one thing he has actually said, when I'm driving in Abuja, particularly, sometimes there is that temptation. You are forced to move. Because the roads are wide and people don't know how to. They just meander. Go to your cross, you know, the tracks, enter your front. Once there's just small space, so you can hardly drive in Abuja for 30 meters and you maintain your lane because they keep coming. But in Lagos, I am told that if you just, you know, exchange lanes anyhow, they arrest you. In Abuja, nobody's arresting anybody. It's just happening there. You just have a cluster of VIO in Abuja and road safety, like 10 in one place, just looking for nothing. I was angry with the other one. Exactly. I was angry with the other one at a CBN Junction and Center for Women Development. Was there traffic just gave green? Then one VIO guy just stepped in front of me when I was about to.
That's so dangerous.
Exactly.
That's
asking.
bad too.
And I was like, you do that with your life? So am I supposed to stop when the green, asking me for my license? I was mad. I didn't give him. So he's somebody who was, I told him, I removed my microphone, that if you actually want to show me that you are working, let me interview you. Tell me that you know this job. What you have just done now, you are proud of yourself. Then his boss came begging. Then I showed him my license and everything. He said I should move, but already vehicles were honking behind.
Exactly.
So they just go and lay ambush at traffic lights.
And cause more traffic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you wonder what they are doing.
That's true.
So sometimes when you go out to talk to people on what we call audience generated content, like I was in Calabar asking people on a Sunday morning if they know how to check if bread they're buying has bromate.
Yeah.
I was doing a NAFDAC program, NAFDAC number. So people were angry with me. Why? They were answering me, but one lady came and was angry with me. They were going to church, they were twerking, and she said that what she thought I should be asking people is the ban on Okada. How is it affecting them?
That wasn't your content.
Exactly, but she was angry with me.
Of course, you have to be angry asking me about potassium bromide in bread.
As far as she was concerned, that was her issue.
She
was going to trek to church because she couldn't afford the funny-looking taxis that were brought into Calabar.
Let me ask you, King James, have you been ever been tempted to overspeed yourself, because you've been driving for years and you drove all the way,
okay, so on the highway I don't, but I'm tempted inside Abuja town. So what I speed within the town sometimes is more than what I speed on the highway. But I always say, look, people force you, because if you are leaving Life Camp, for instance, and heading to town, you're on Mabushi Express, and you are maintaining a lane, you know that you are going all the way,
a straight road,
all the way down to
Bandex, all that,
exactly, and you're maintaining the middle lane. There, you know that you have no reason to go left or right now. So, but they keep coming and coming. So sometimes you are forced to just move.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's how it works. But of course, we should always be cautious. There is just one life, no duplicate. Right, so it's time to just say bye and just pack our kaya and leave.
Bye.
We play the greatest music, 98.5.